Kids need to know, number one, they need to be in an environment where they are heard and they are valued. But kids also need to know that they have a voice and the emotions that they're feeling, because we are born with all these crazy emotions that we don't know what to do with, are simply emotions. They are not good emotions. They're not bad emotions. They are just emotions.
Welcome to Heart Parents. Let's connect with our kids and learn together. I'm Carrie. I was a former teacher and speech therapist. I'm also a parent of two spirited, gifted, highly sensitive kids. I was quickly brought to my knees as a parent when I thought that I would see a rosy lens version of parenting just as they present on Instagram, but I quickly learned that's not real life. I will provide real life experiences and transform them into moments for connections and change for you to use in your house. Hi there, conscious parents. Before we start today's episode, it's Carrie here, and I wanted to reach out to ask you guys for a quick favor. As a follower of our show, we would love for you to give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. It can be just a few words, that's it. And it really goes a long way with us, with the podcasting community on Apple or Spotify. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm so excited for you to hear today's message. Happy listening. Hi there and welcome back. I'm Carrie. I'm your mindful mama here. And today I have an amazing guest for you guys. I have Celia Kibler is a renowned parenting expert, family relationship empowerment coach, founder of the Pumped Up Parenting and the Day of Calm Foundation. She has over 40 years of experience working with families, and she wrote the book Raising Happy Toddlers: How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, which I love the title of that, Celia. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, Carrie, I'm so excited to be here with you. And yeah, I'm all about not yelling at kids. That's like my mission in
Mhm.
life.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that matches very well with mine, which is trying to raise these kids to be the best version of themselves. And what have you found as far as like with the yelling piece? Have you found you mentioned confidence when I had spoken or read some of your info. I loved the confidence piece. How do you feel like parents can help with that confidence piece and foster better communication with our kiddos?
Well, part of the problem with yelling
Yeah.
is it is considered okay. Like, well, everybody yells at their kids, it's
Mhm.
fine. Just we all yell. What's wrong with that? Well, I was yelled at and I'm fine. And, it goes down for generations. And the problem is that harsh parenting, yelling, hitting,
Mm,
bullying, calling names, all of that stuff, that parents do, that unfortunately so much of society it believes it is normal to do,
mhm.
is so ultimately destructive to children.
Yeah.
When they are constantly yelled at, and I'm not talking about like, we all have bad days. We're human. We have bad days. We have good days. We go to work. It's however turned out to be not such a great day. We walked in the door. The kids might be fighting, and you, your emotions run wild. And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I feel like
Yeah.
a terrible parent. I'm the
Yeah.
worst mother in the world. What am I thinking? And you
Yeah.
go in your room and you're like, I'm terrible.
Mhm.
You can go out and say you're sorry. And I'm not talking about those random times when we yell. What I'm talking about is parents that, for the most part, their communication with their child is a very harsh communication. They talk harshly, they don't use their manners, they're
Mhm.
not calm, they are yelling and screaming, and therefore their kids are yelling and screaming. And the problem with consistent harsh communication with children, consistently yelling at them, is that a child then feels like they're a bad kid. They feel like they're always in trouble. They always do everything wrong, and the opposite side of that is that means they never do anything right,
Mm.
and what it does is it creates a very low confidence because they don't feel like they could speak up. They don't feel like they can offer opinions because they're afraid they're gonna get yelled at, and yelling and harsh communication is judgment. So they are being
Yeah.
judged, they've been criticized, and it eliminates any confidence, self-esteem, self-worth that a child might have. And I'm pretty sure your listeners don't want that from their children. They want their children to feel great about themselves and feel like they're going to make an impact on the world.
Yes. Yes. That resonates so much with me. I talk a lot about how children, when they're being raised and growing into adults, how we, with these hardships or pieces that happen in our lives, we slowly build these layers of protection on us. And it really makes it hard when we're adults to hear anything except for our monkey mind trying to be perfect all the
Exactly.
time. Right. So I love that so much. What are some tips that can help us? Because I know we're busy moms and dads. We can get into our monkey minds. We may have been raised differently. Do you have some tips or steps that can help us stop yelling, create this more peaceful environment that you're describing?
Well, one of the things we have to realize, and for you being a mindful mom, and helping your kids, I know you said you help your kids be mindful and you help
Yeah.
others be mindful, is to be mindful of ourselves.
Mm,
Recognize how you were raised. If you were raised by parents that yell and scream, chances are you're going to come out two ways. You're either going to be an angry, raging adult and you're
mm,
going to be yelling and screaming, or you're going to be the peacemaker. That's how I came out. You're
mm.
going to be the person that avoids confrontation at all costs and always
Yes.
has to make sure everybody's happy.
Yes.
Okay, let's just make sure. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
created the International Day of Calm, so I like went overboard on the making sure the world is calm feeling.
Love
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah.
okay, let's just get everybody calm. Why stop at parents when the whole world can calm down, which we
Yes.
need. I think
We
you would
do need.
agree. I mean, we have a
Yes.
little
Yes.
excessive epidemic of anger and rage,
Yeah.
but you have to recognize what you yourself
Mm,
tend to do when you lose emotional control.
mm.
And everybody hears about emotional intelligence. We're not born with this. We
Yeah.
learn this. And what parents have to recognize is that when an adult is screaming, yelling, hitting, raging, whatever they're doing out of
Yeah.
control,
Yeah.
they are throwing a tantrum, just like a child does. A child throws a tantrum, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, we're all like, oh, yeah, they always throw tantrums because they don't know how to regulate their emotions. We're not born with that in our brains.
Yeah.
A parent, or I should say, an adult rages and screams and yells and cusses and calls names and throws things and does any of those things, same thing.
Mm,
That means that adult never learned how to regulate their own emotions, never learned what to do with that disappointment muscle
mhm.
instead of just respond harshly. Because basically, in some way, you're disappointed with your child's behavior.
Yeah.
And if you're not handling disappointment in a calmer, more productive, and constructive way, you are directly teaching your child to handle disappointment in a destructive way.
Mm. Right. So, is there any, if we've been raised like that, oftentimes it feels like we're speaking a different language when we're talking to our kids. It feels like, you tend to want to go back to how you were raised, the strictness, the yelling, the ultimatums. I feel like that's kind of where your tendency is to go. Is there anything that we can do to kind of help ourselves move on in practice or
The best thing we can do in anything in life, in fact, is to recognize what we don't know. And if
Mm,
what you're doing, we come to this planet at this point, at this time, at this minute, at this second, with all the knowledge we know from our past.
mhm,
And if something is not working with all the knowledge you know from your past at this moment, you have to be willing to learn a better way.
mm,
And it's out there. There are, I raised 5 children. 3 of them are my stepsons.
Wow.
And I did it without yelling and screaming and making them feel like they're horrible people. I did
Mhm.
it through encouraging cooperation and teaching them respect by being respectful. And
Mm.
if you don't know if what is happening right now in your family is not working,
Yeah.
it's time to learn a system that will work. What people don't realize is, well, everything has a system.
Yep.
You have a career. You learned what you needed to know to do that career. If
Mhm.
you are a plumber, you learned what you needed to know to be a plumber. If you are a doctor, you learned what you needed to know. And yet people enter into parenting seriously the most responsible obligation, responsibility, whatever, I'm repeating my words, that
Mm.
you can have on the planet, raising another adult. And we go into it without a system, without a
Mhm.
plan. We
Mhm.
fly by the seat of our pants. The
Mhm.
single most biggest responsibility a human can have to raise another adult, and we don't take it seriously. Well, we
Yeah.
can do this. We got this. We're good. We were screamed, we were yelled at, was a kid, and I came out okay. Did you? Did you come
Mhm.
out okay? Because
Yep.
if you're just repeating the dysfunctional patterns of your past, you didn't come out okay and you didn't learn more. So, my best advice to you is learn a system, learn a better way because they're there. Your
Mhm.
parenting should include so many aspects. We search, we get one tip. One tip is not going to fix your family. And if you're
Mm.
not being consistent with whatever you're learning, it won't help either.
And we'll be right back after this message. Hi there, Changemaker moms and dads. It's Carrie here. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. If there's any pieces of this episode that resonate with you, we would love for you to share it with a friend. A little helping hand goes a long way. We appreciate you tuning in, and here's more. Okay, I love that. And if you were looking back and you could tell a younger version of Celia or younger parents something, what would be one thing you would tell us going through this era right now?
A younger version of me, because I told you I was the peacemaker.
Yep.
I'm still kind of a peacemaker.
Well, you're talking
But
to another version of that
yeah,
here.
exactly, because that's how we come out. But
Mhm.
the younger version of me would be that some very important words. Number one, I am worthy, because I
Mm,
learned not that long ago that I was worthy. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of being able to speak up and be heard.
mhm,
And my opinion is valuable. I am valuable. I don't have to just say, oh, whatever all you guys want. I can have an opinion. I can have a voice. But I spent a lot of my life and a lot of my childhood not
mhm,
believing that that was necessary, nor believing that other people felt it was necessary. And I felt very stupid growing up. And so if I could go back and say, you know what, you're actually pretty darn smart,
yeah.
it would change a lot of things.
Yeah. I love that. So, when we talk about this mindful era, I feel like mindful is like the new keyword, right, in the parenting era. If you could say anything for helping these children as they're piling on these layers of onion and protection, what would you say to the kids growing up today?
Kids need to know, number one, they need to be in an environment where they are heard and they are valued. But kids also need to know that they have a voice and the emotions that they're feeling, because we are born with all these crazy emotions that we don't know what to do with, are simply emotions. They are not good emotions. They're not bad emotions. They are just emotions, angers
Mhm.
and emotion, excitement and emotion, happiness and emotion. It is not, there's not a scale of like, here are the really great ones and here are the not so great ones. It is our reaction that puts it into a category. How are we reacting to the fact that we're angry?
Mm.
And understanding that we, as children and teenagers, and getting up into adulthood, the only people that we can control is us.
Mm-hmm.
We are the only ones that have control over us. And the way we respond, the way we act, the way we feel, what we do to help ourselves deal with things that are going on is up to us. Even
Mm-hmm.
like my grandchildren know when they walk up to me, go, Grandma, I'm bored. I look right at them and I'm like, who's making you bored? And now they know. They know the
Ooh, I
answer to
like
that. So they
that.
don't even ask me as much, but they're like, I am. Like, exactly. So go find something to do. I'm not responsible for your entertainment 24/7. And parents, you're not responsible for your kids' entertainment 24/7. They are responsible for how they approach everything. And it's an important thing for kids to know because you can, like the on board, you can take a
Mm-hmm.
child who's listening to a podcast and one is listening all engaged and excited and the other's like falling asleep, totally under their control. And that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
best things you can help a child understand.
Yes, I love that. So I have a question. I don't know if you've heard about toxic positivity. It's the era of the good vibes only. Negative won't help us. You'll get over it. People have it a lot worse. What are your thoughts on this piece?
So toxic positivity is is positive. Okay, let me just say positivity is a good thing.
Yes.
I am probably like excessively positive and happy.
Yes.
I have excessive happiness, if you want to
Yes.
say. I
Definitely. Me
learned a
too.
long time ago that whatever I'm going through, there is someone out there in the world suffering a bigger challenge, dealing with a bigger challenge. So I used to feel that how did I have a right to complain? And I think the biggest thing that can come out of the thought of toxic positivity should not be that positivity is toxic,
Mm-hmm.
but that positivity is necessary, but you are also allowed to have your own feelings. You are also allowed to, if something's not going so great, to think, you know what, this is not going so great. How can I deal with it better? It's not like
Yeah.
snap out of it, get better. It's like I'm the voice of calm. I'm like the calm crusader. But in the history of calm down, has anyone ever calmed down by telling them to calm down?
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk with kids. You have to talk with each other. You have to help and you have to allow your children, yourself, your partner, your friends, their emotions. You have to recognize them and acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
it doesn't mean that you cannot be positive. I hope you are positive. I hope
Mm-hmm.
you see the good in things,
Yep.
but we are still allowed to acknowledge difficulties as we grow, as we deal with day to day things, and understanding that some things are easier for other people and not just like, wipe it out by saying, oh, snap out of it, calm down, do this, do that.
Yep. Yep. I love that because I think if I said to my kids, it could be worse, and I'm not acknowledging that moment and that those feelings that they're having, it makes it so they don't matter in their mind. It could feel like we're
Correct.
not acknowledging those feelings and they could feel powerless in that moment. So
Right.
I
They feel
think,
like
yeah.
invisible and
Yep.
and the reality is you can help your children feel appreciative
Hmm.
through other means by being grateful, by
Yeah.
talking about the 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 gifts in your world, the beauty in your world, things they can
Hmm.
do for other people. What can you do for another child that doesn't have all the great things that you have?
Hmm.
Let's look and see where people are in life and how they're living, teaching kids to talk to strangers, not
Mm.
stranger danger, to
Yeah.
say that the most people that people are going to meet in their lifetime are strangers and
Yes.
be friendly and say hello to the clerk at the store that's wearing a name tag that says Miriam and
Hmm.
say, hi, Miriam. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for helping me. Like, be kind.
Yes, I love that. I even my 9-year-old son, he still gets nervous going up and he has to have me with him and he wants me to talk for him or he has his 6-year-old sister speak for him. He gets very nervous. So my husband and I were actually just talking about this weekend. In our house, respecting our elders has always been something that is a very strong concept in our house, and it's I was raised with a Hispanic family where we always took care of our elders and we would bring them a plate of food and we would, make sure that they got their plate of food first, or these pieces of respect that we don't always see today. So
And it's so important, and it should still be that way. I
Mhm,
am all about respect. What I do for parents is I teach them how to raise respectful children without yelling at them. But the
mhm,
respect part is just as important as the not yelling part.
mm,
And so, the fact that you are being thoughtful to another person, you
mhm,
use your manners, you smile when you talk. Well-mannered children come from well-mannered parents. I
mm,
asked a couple of my clients, a couple who were my clients,
mhm,
because they were concerned about their child using her manners. And my first question is always, do you use your manners? And they said, well,
mm,
sometimes. We're older now. We don't have to use our manners. You don't grow too old to use manners, number one. Number two, if you sometimes use your manners, your
yep,
children will also sometimes use theirs. I
yeah,
always use my manners. I smile when I
mhm,
talk. And
mhm,
I'm always encouraging when I speak and calm. And elders should be respected. You should not allow your child to speak rudely to you, because if
mhm,
they're given permission to speak rudely to you, they have permission to speak rudely to anyone. If you
mhm,
allow them to hit you, you give them permission to hit anyone. So there
mhm,
should be respect built, but there is a way to encourage that respect by teaching them different techniques when they're angry or they're mad or things like that,
mhm,
and different ways that you respond to them that will encourage them to be kinder, gentler, more compassionate.
mhm. And my kids are I think a lot of kids are probably also like that, where when they go into outside of the house, they're very respectful of other people. As soon as we come home and we close the door, that's when the respect can sometimes change. They're downloading, especially after a day of school. Do you have any tips for a mom that is being disrespected in a moment by their 9-year-old after school? It's very tiring on their systems. They want to be perfect outside, so they're just exhausted, and they just keep coming after mom, and you wanna yell, it's bubbling up. What are your tips?
So the bottom line is they may have had a hard day at school. They may be tired. They may be irritable. They may be hungry. They may be any of these
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
Do not have the right to treat you disrespectfully. And you do not deserve to be treated disrespectfully. And that's a big part of the puzzle. Adults, especially women,
Mm,
feel like they're allowed to be abused. They're allowed to be treated, rudely. They're allowed to have somebody call them names and kind of beat them up. We
mhm,
can take it, we're women. No, you don't deserve that. And I don't care who it's coming from. You need to help whoever is acting that way to understand you don't deserve that. So if your
mhm,
child comes up and they're like demanding and they're barking orders at you, you can simply look at them and say, try that again. And if
mhm,
they try it again and they're still barking orders, there is no conversation.
mm,
You don't engage in conversation. You can ignore them. You can let them know in advance, honey, we've had kind of a problem with talking back. I want to
mhm,
hear what you say. I love to hear what you say. But if you speak rudely to me or anyone else, we will ask you to try that again. If you don't follow through, we will go on with our lives until you're ready to speak kindly. Once you engage in conversation that is disrespectful and rude, you give permission for that behavior to continue.
mhm,
So it is very important for you to just not allow it. One of my clients, They have an older child who is 17 who they were dealing with this rudeness and this disrespect constantly.
Mm.
And I taught her how to handle it, and it's changed. He doesn't do that to her anymore because she doesn't allow it.
Mm.
Do not allow someone to abuse you,
Yeah.
whoever it is.
Yep. Yep. So this has been the year of passion for me. I'd like to ask you, you mentioned your passion for having calmness and spreading calmness. What does that look like for you?
Well, I have always had this passion. I've always had a passion for children,
Mhm.
for their wellness and their, health. I have a kids fitness company I started back in '87, so that's kind of
Oh.
where all this health and wellness started
Mm.
with kids, and it kind of naturally matured into me helping the parents because after you teach a group of parents and kids, because in my classes, it's a family fitness, so parents are participating, not watching.
Wow.
You become the parenting expert. So people ask
Mhm.
you, and I was like, you know what? I should do this for a
Mm.
living because I should add this to my next thing because I can help parents.
Yeah.
And it's just it when you find your passion, it's not work. It's not, oh, I have to go into work today. It's Monday. It is
Mhm.
thoroughly enjoyable
Yeah.
because you're helping people. You're helping people learn a better way.
Yeah.
And what you help an adult, a parent, to do is a direct reflection on what that child will learn.
Mm.
And if I can help a parent to have a more peaceful home, a
Mhm.
calmer home,
Yeah.
less stress, less chaos,
Mhm.
the happiness and joy and the blossoming from the childhood instead of having to recover from the childhood is the natural outcome.
I love it. So what does the word connection mean to you?
Connection means respect.
Mhm.
You cannot connect with another human being disrespectfully.
Mm.
You just can't do it. You hit. I've had parents ask me, "Well, you've got to admit
Mhm.
there is a time when you just need to hit a child. Just makes sense. They
Oof.
need to be hit." To which I respond, "When is it a good time for me to hit you? Tell me. I want to know. I want to know when it's a good time for me to hit you. And then, we can work on that." There's never a good time to hit another person.
Mhm.
We need to
Yeah.
stop making violence, anger, and rage normal.
Mm.
It is normal in society to be angry and raging. It is
Mhm.
normal. The guns, the shooting, people are shooting people, and our answer is take away the guns. Well, the
Mhm.
person that is angry and raging behind that gun is
Mhm.
still there.
Yeah.
They're still angry and raging.
Yeah.
You cannot connect to another person by being disrespectful,
Mhm.
angry, rage, speaking harshly to them, calling them names,
Mhm.
labeling them, being unreasonable. There is no connection.
Mhm.
Connection is built through respect. It is built through trust. You build trust through that.
Yep.
It is for your child, your connection, your positive, intentional connection is what helps that child be more confident.
Mm.
You mentioned your son who doesn't like to speak up.
Yeah.
Well, how can you connect with him and help him to speak more is by
Mhm.
giving him opportunities to speak kindly to someone else. Because
Mhm.
confidence isn't built first. You don't first have confidence and then you can do something. Confidence is built by doing it.
Mhm.
And connection is built by speaking to another person and being a good listener. We miss that aspect so much. We
Mhm.
forget that the great communicators of the world are the great listeners of the world. And if you
Yeah.
take the time to listen, your child is talking, you put down distractions, electronics, you look that child in the eye and you listen without going, without interrupting, without making all these noises, without second guessing what they're going to say, without you plotting your rebuttal. just listen, you'll be connected forever. And that child will come and talk to you when they're a teenager, just like mine did, even my stepchildren. They will trust you because they know you have genuinely shown an interest in what they need and what they're interested in.
I love that. We just got back from painting our pottery before the kids go to school, just sitting and connecting before they start on Thursday. So I love that
So
piece.
fun. So fun. I love painting pottery. That's so fun.
They loved it. They're saving their money to go back and do it again. So it's really
Good.
cute.
It's a great time. You can even
Yes.
buy like little ceramic things. I did that for my grandkids. Like I
Mhm.
bought them little ceramic things that we could then paint.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, they
know,
have them at
it's always
Target.
fun.
Yeah,
And
even
you can get
Target.
clay
Yeah.
and make your ceramic things. Of
It's
course, you
even
need to
more
find somewhere to
projects.
fire them, but it's
They
all
have
fun.
the air drying clay now, so that's
Yes,
good. You'll have
yes.
to try
And
that
then
with
you
your
can probably
grandkids.
paint that too.
Yep,
I
once it's
know.
dry, you can paint it. Yeah.
I love fun artsy stuff. And it's a great way to connect as
It
long as you're
is.
not judgmental and critical.
Uh-huh.
Like if you are
Yes.
judging their every move, if you're criticizing their every move,
Mhm.
like, if your child is dusting a table and you're like, oh, you
Mhm.
did a great job, but you
Mhm.
forgot to do this, you just wiped out the compliment. And
Yeah.
now it's criticism.
Yeah.
Don't but at the end. Don't add buts
Oh,
at the
man.
end of a compliment. Just
Even with
give the compliment.
Even with the sandwich method, I think kids don't need that middle piece of what to work on when they're little, for sure. I have a random question for you. So I grew up in a Hispanic, my grandmother was from Argentina. And so we have in our family what's called El Pasión, is what we call it. It's the passion inside of us. And sometimes it gets very very lively when we're discussing or having these conversations. What are your feelings about these cultural pieces that sometimes are ingrained in us?
Right. Well, what is ingrained in us is just us. It's
Mhm.
like it's what makes you you.
Yeah.
And and I always say laughter is the best medicine. I end my podcast that way. I end my lives that way. I'm always like,
Yeah.
I wish you guys days filled with peace, love, and tons of laughter because it really is the best
Mhm.
medicine.
Yes.
Find the humor in you and your
Mhm.
kids and find the funny because stuff is funny. And
Yeah.
like you're getting passionate, you're talking about something and
Yeah.
this passion's coming out. Let your children go, okay, mom. Whoa,
Mhm.
whoa, bring it down, bring it down. We are like the queens and kings in my family of sarcasm. We have all
Mm.
these sayings in our family. Like it's only funny until someone gets hurt and then it's hysterical and
Mhm.
and we live by it without even
Yeah.
realizing it. Somebody's like laying there on the floor and we're laughing so much of however they got
Good.
on the floor that we're
Yeah.
not even checking to see if they're still alive. And,
Yeah.
but all of these mannerisms, all of these characteristics, all of these
Mhm.
quirks are humorous and
Yeah.
funny, and they will help you make light of the situation that's going on in your house and life itself. We
Mm.
tend as parents to take life very seriously. We're
Yes.
always worried about the future. If our child doesn't do this, then this is not going to happen. I had a parent tell me, my child doesn't do homework and his child was in fifth grade. They'll never get into college. I'm like, is that true? Is that really true? Because I think there are a lot of people in college that don't do homework. And there are probably people in
Mhm.
college that never did homework,
Mhm.
and we're like so in tune, like we have to do this because the future won't be bright for our child, that we
Mhm.
forget that our life should be fun. It should be light.
Mhm.
And if we're getting overly passionate about a topic, and I do it all the time because I'm very
Mhm.
passionate about things, let your children bring you back to earth. Say,
Yeah.
it's okay. You can be, I'm not going to take insult by it. Mom, you're
Yeah.
like, I mean, my kids now, they're in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
They're always, I mean, gratefully, I'm on the planet for them because it gives them a great thing to make fun of all the time because I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, like, what comes out of my mouth. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be like talking and talking, and I even know, like, I'm even thinking, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, and
Mhm.
I'll say something, and then
Mhm.
my kids will be like, "What? What did you just say, mom? What did you?" I'm like, oh, never mind, never mind. And then I'll hear about it. It's like I never cuss. And if
Yeah.
I cuss, I have 5 kids. They're all in their 30s and 40s. They literally will text each other. Guess what mom just said? I'm like, you don't have to text that. Oh, yes, we do. And it's like, so it is very important to find your funny,
Yeah.
find humor in what you do and who you are, because that's the magic. That's the magic moments. That's the memories.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. I love it because, there's this era of feeling like you have to compete to start at college at third. They're mailing us pamphlets now for my 9-year-olds. You need
No
to start
way.
your coaching for college. And I'm like, that is
Don't do
the
it.
joke. Let's throw that in the trash. Like,
Don't
that
do
is
it, Carrie.
the joke.
Don't do it.
No, no. My husband's like, do we need to wear it? I'm like, no, just throw it away.
No,
Just
actually, we do not need to do that.
No,
we need our 9-year-old to be a 9-year-old.
9-year-old riding his bike. That's
Yeah. And falling off.
Focus.
And splitting his chin open like I did 3 times.
Living. Oh, me too. I did the same thing.
Yeah, it's just like a party. It's like, boom. Like I got stitches so much in childhood.
That's life. Yes, that's what we need to be doing, right? Getting dirty,
Yes, having
living.
fun. They need a childhood.
Yes.
It's a beauty. They've got plenty of time to be adults.
Yes.
Let them breathe. Let you breathe. Have fun. Childhood should be fun for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes, yes. And I love the spirit that you bring. I think I started following you on Instagram and I was like, I have to connect with Celia because she's fun and she brings the passion. I saw El Pasión for you as well on
El Pasión.
Instagram.
See, now I'm like multilingual and I could say to my
there
kids,
you go.
I am El Pasión.
El Pasión. When they start to text, they have their group text about your cussing. You can mention El Pasión for yourself. Just El Pasión moment.
Those crazy kids.
Well, where can our listeners find you? Instagram is a great place.
Instagram's good at parenting_expert_toddlers.
Okay.
So, and I also help parents of all. I mean, I have a lot of older parents that have older kids. I have my clients range in all. Yes, I am a toddler expert, and they call me the baby whisperer. But I help with all kids, and actually, you know what? I want to tell your listeners, Carrie, that I'm offering a yell-free family masterclass. So 4-hour class on August 24th, telling you you're going to get a lot of information. I'm really big on giving information that can help you. I mean, that's like my thing. Like in my book, that's why my book's like a manual. Raising Happy Toddlers is like a manual because I want you to be able to look up, okay, this tantrums. What should I do? This is what you should do. Just like if you had to find out what to do about an appliance. So this is a 4-hour masterclass really to teach you how to be a yell-free family, not just the yelling on you, but it is a family issue to create calm, respectful communication. This is a family issue, not just on one person. Everybody needs to make an effort to do that. So if you go to yellfreefamily.com, you get free registration to that 4-hour masterclass, and it is free. And it's on a Saturday. So, make plans, join us live on Zoom. There's only so many people that can attend. So be in the group that can attend.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes too, that link as well. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Celia. It was a great chat.
Oh, it has been a pleasure, Carrie, and I just really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah, and I hope you use El Pasión with your kids as well.
I will in Spanish because they're really impressed when I can use other languages. They're very impressed that I'm multilingual, and my goal is to impress my children. And then you can come on my podcast, Bumped Up Parenting Podcast, and we'll have you on next.
I would love it. Thanks so much. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in, Changemakers. This is Carrie, and I just wanted to send one more reminder. If you haven't done a review for us, 5 stars and a few words about what you've enjoyed in our podcast episodes, we would really appreciate it. One other thing, if you guys would like to ever message me, I would love any questions you have or any feedback at info@hearttoheartlife.com. We also have a brand new website, which we're super excited to share. It's hearttoheartlife.com. Thanks so much for tuning in, and happy life, happy times, Changemaker families.